You're sitting there in that diversity workshop, nodding along politely, while the leader talks about how old-school manhood hurts everyone around. Other guys fidget in their chairs, but they keep quiet. They've figured out that challenging this story paints them as the bad guy. They've been taught their built-in urges are flat out wrong. That drive to compete? It's poison. That pull to take charge? It's just bullying in sheep's clothing. All the while, the ladies in the room nod in agreement. They've reshaped what being a man means to fit their own ideas, raising up a bunch of fellows who say sorry just for being alive, while women take over the top spots those men used to hold. You're seeing the endgame of the slickest power grab in all history. Not some bloody uprising or law change, but a slow rewrite of what makes a man. The playbook for manhood got flipped by folks who square off against it. And men? They've grabbed their rival's strategy like it's their own. Today, I'll lay out how this mind game plays out, why it had to happen this way, and the fallout for guys who buy in. Because once you get the rules of this match, you'll see that playing by your opponent's book is a surefire path to losing big. For the last 50 years, we've watched folks who've never lived as men remake what it means to be one. Every quality that helped men win at life – grit, toughness, command, boldness, keeping feelings in check – got branded as broken, backward, or downright dangerous. This shift wasn't by chance, it was planned. When you can't outmatch someone head-on, you tweak the game's rules. When raw strength isn't on your side, you hit their headspace. When nature gives them an edge, you talk them into thinking it's a flaw. The real smarts here? Wrapping it in feel-good morals. Instead of owning up to softening the competition, the folks behind this pitched it as guiding men to be their best selves. They sold guys on the idea that swapping in women-favored manhood would make them more appealing, sharper at work, and happier overall. Now, you've got millions of men who've swallowed a version of being a man cooked up by their rivals. They've bought that their gut feelings are off base. Their body's urges are trouble, and old roles are yesterday's news. They're chasing victory in a setup rigged to trip them up. This takeover of the mind is the ultimate win over a rival crowd. These men aren't just beaten, they've joined in beating themselves, all while thinking they're growing. Today's man-woman scene pretends it's all teamwork, but it's the fiercest rivalry ever. Women didn't bow out of vying with men. They charged into every turf men once ruled and pushed for equal or better footing. That turns it into a win-lose setup where her step up means his step down. A top job grabbed by a woman? That's one less for a man. A scholarship or raise set aside for women. Doors slammed on men. Rules tilting toward women. They hobble men every time. Yet this rivalry hides behind teamwork talk that says lifting women helps all. Guys hear that women bosses bring balance to teams. Man-led areas? They're called out for needing fresh faces, not raids by challengers. Women boosting plans get labeled fair play, not edge-giving perks. The fellows who call out the real contest? They're tagged as scared, shaky, or stuck in the past. The women driving it? Hailed as gutsy trailblazers battling unfairness. The story spun makes it tough to name the truth without looking like the heavy. This cover-up worked so well, most men don't even know they're competing. They figure they're backing positive change while paving the way for their own sidelining. Remaking manhood only flew because some lower-rung guys thought they'd climb by teaming with women against the top dogs. They jumped in to tear down the setups that boosted their stronger rivals. This partnership clicked because it dangled things for these guys that regular guy-on-guy rivalry couldn't deliver. Women's thumbs up, a sense of being morally better, and a shot at knocking down the fellas who'd beaten them fair and square. Rather than working on themselves to compete better, they decided to rewrite the game so old-school manly wins weren't possible anymore. The guys lower on the totem pole who signed on figured they were smartly angling for a fresh setup where woman-friendly ways would pay off big. They reckoned ditching the bad kind of manhood and picking up the good kind would make them more appealing to ladies and thrive in softer setups. But that thinking was dead wrong since it missed how woman-shaped manhood aimed to keep men in check, not help them out. These fellows didn't get that they were just handy tools for tearing down old man hierarchies as long as they kept at it. Once the job was done, they'd be tossed aside. The team-up between women and these lesser status men did sideline the classic manly types, but it was always a short-term deal meant to boost women's goals, not men's. Reshaping what it means to be a man leaned on 3 key tricks of emotional pulling that skipped straight past logic and hit men's weak spots head-on. Spotting these tricks shows how men's own guarding urges got turned into weapons against them. The first trick played on men's urge to shield by flashing pictures of women's weakness and woes. Guys got bombarded with stories of how old manhood supposedly hurt women, stirring up guilt and a duty for messes they didn't make. This fired up the drive to guard and give, pushing men to give up their own good for stopping women's pain. The second trick dangled women's okay as a prize for going along with the new man rules. Fellas who took on the woman-approved acts got pats on the back, real nods, and hints of drawing women in. That built strong pulls for dropping old manly features for stuff women said they liked better. The third trick hit back with shame and kicking out of the group for any guy bucking the new labels. Those questioning woman-led manhood got tagged as shaky, scared, woman-hating, or mentally busted. This crowd backlash made heavy push to fit in and dodge landing with the outcast guy types. These pulling tricks worked so well because they seemed like upbeat swaps for old manhood, yet they really chipped away at the qualities that let men win big in the long human race. One eye-opener in this man rework push is the gap between what women tell men they want and what actually pulls them in real-life bonds. Women pulled off getting men to try acts they say are tops, all while still going for guys who blow off those rules completely. The men who've soaked up woman-approved manhood the deepest often strike out with romance from the very women pushing those ideas. Meanwhile, guys holding on to classic manly marks keep scoring in the bedroom, even while breaking every rule of built-in manhood. This odd twist happens because the man rework wasn't ever about making guys hotter to women. It was about dialing back men's edge in social and work ladders. Women's bedroom pull still lights up for old signs of man wins, boss moves, and strong genes. No matter what women say out loud about values, the split between words and real pics proves the man rework helps women's rivalry edges, not their love lives. Women gain from fewer classic manly types, scrapping for stuff and standing, but they still chase the guys keeping those marks against all the push. This sets a mean snare for men thinking woman-built manhood would boost their love luck. They've been sold on dropping the exact pulls that spark women, with promises that quitting them would amp up the spark. The man rework grew strong by grabbing hold of spots that shape young guys. School systems, mind health guides, company rules, and TV shows all started pushing the same lines on bad old manhood and good new swaps. This team effort meant men faced the same pitch in every corner of life. Schools told boys that pushing to win was antisocial. Therapists labeled classic male traits as mental problems. Companies set rules that punished strong male leadership. The media kept showing traditional men as bad guys, while praising softer male roles. This takeover hit hard because it started with young boys who weren't ready to question what they heard. Whole generations of guys grew up thinking their natural male urges were wrong or sick. These places got taken over, not by some plot, but by slowly putting folks with the same ideas in key spots. Over years, they turned into echo chambers, pushing anti-male views and shutting down anyone who disagreed. Now we have a world where old-school manhood is knocked down through official ways, and new kinds of manhood are sold as smarter, better, and more right. The worst part of reworking what it means to be a man is kicking out skilled men from important jobs in favor of those who toe the ideological line over real talent. This leads to groups and systems that care more about looking good than working well. When skill takes a back seat to fitting the right story, things just don't run as smoothly. Outfits run by people picked for buying into the approved talk, not for getting results, fall short on their goals. This skills shortage spreads from single groups to whole parts of life. Swap merit for ideology in picking leaders, and the whole quality of guidance and choices drops in every spot it touches. The fellas pushed out aren't always swapped for sharper ladies. They're replaced by those great at dodging thought police, but lousy at real-world fixes. This builds leader groups sharp on keeping the story straight, but fumbling big issues. Down the road, we'll see the damage as these setups hit real hurdles needing true know-how, not just show. If you're seeing how tweaking manhood has quietly hurt male drive by calling it moral growth, stick around for more. What I'm sharing shakes up basic ideas on gender changes that folks rarely poke at. And there's plenty more on the true drives of movements that say they're helping but really hurt the folks they target. Reworking manhood meant making guys think their edge was unfair, not earned. It built a story where guy wins became guy perks, guy skill became guy control, and guy wins became guy bullying. This blame-making was key, since men had to choose to give up what they'd won fair and square. Straight fight wouldn't work. Guys could have just said no. Mind tricks were needed to get men okay with losing ground. The blame story said every guy gain cost, women chances. Every guy win cut female promise. And every guy feet propped up woman-crushing systems. It pushed men to back off and fix old wrongs they never did. Guys doubting this blame got called out for their perks, their pushback proving guilt, their gripes showing they liked the bad setup. This loop made fighting the blame look like proving it true. Building guy blame worked so well because it played on male codes of duty, fair play, and shielding the weak. These good male ways got twisted to buy into a plan that wrecked manhood at its core. Redefining manhood leaned big on pulling in guys to push for their own sidelining. These guy backers gave real weight to anti-man talk and showed smart men were on board. They truly thought they backed fairness, sameness, and forward steps. They missed how they were just handy tools in a plan to sap male fights for stuff and standing. Their real belief made them stronger sellers than women could have been for that cause. Folks who backed the feminist take on manhood got pats on the back from women, respect in liberal groups, and that warm glow of feeling better than other guys. These perks made it seem worth it, even if it mostly helped women's side in the rivalry. A lot of these fellows learned the hard way that linking up with anti-man movements only paid off for a spell. After they helped make jabs at manhood look okay, they got hit with the same knocks and brush-offs as everybody else. The guys who pushed hardest to sideline themselves often wound up as the first victims in the fights they cheered on. Their being men made them suspect right off in setups that saw manhood as the root of trouble. At the heart of remaking manhood was pretending the big natural gaps between men and women, the ones that shaped old school roles, didn't exist. They had to ignore that, or else the old male strengths would hold up. The push was that all boy-girl differences came from society, not biology. Your sex didn't matter for what you could do, and any gaps you saw were just from how folks were raised, not genes. This turned classic man traits into random quirks, not useful ones. But it flew in the face of solid science on hormones, brain setups, strength differences, and mental patterns between the sexes. Speaking up against it got you shut down in places taken over by the remake crowd. The fallout from dodging biology was rules and hopes that overlooked real man-woman differences, while you got slammed for noticing them. This built systems that didn't work well, based on ideas instead of facts. Men sticking to old man ways got labeled as stuck in their wiring, refusing to grow. Yet women fumbling in man roles got help that quietly admitted those differences the theory said weren't there. Remaking manhood helped the wallet by excusing pushing men out of schools and jobs. When man traits got called sick, spots could roll out rules that hurt men on purpose, all under a do-good flag. Schools that dinged kids for competing hard, chasing wins aggressively, or thinking solo picked against man-like boys, and boosted those good at going along and teaming up. This funneled fewer men into college and job training. Workplaces pushing team leading, feeling smarts, and chatty inclusion set climbs that liked girl-like ways and dinged boy-like ones. It got tougher for straight-up man-men to lead. The push-out got sold as fixing old wrongs, building sharper outfits, and better bosses. But really, it shifted job chances from men to women via steady rule tweaks. This put real money squeeze on guys to act woman-approved or hit job walls. Plenty picked fitting in over being real, since bucking it cost too much. The Manhood remake was a full-on culture shakeup, aiming to flip society by swapping old gender roles for approved acts. It meant tearing down man culture and swapping in woman-liked stuff. Man hangouts got crashed, man doings got tweaked for women. Man beliefs got ousted for female faves. The shakeup came in small steps that added up big. Words changed to drop man defaults. Old ways got freshened for everyone. Habits got fixed to ease off rivalry. Each tweak looked fair, but together, it remade everything. Guys griping about the shifts got painted as holding to junk, blocking needed steps, or guarding hurtful setups. That made fighting back look backward and self-serving, not smart guarding of good ways. This culture flip worked by making old man life seem wrong and new woman way life look plainly better to any fair mind. The deepest hit from the remake was the mind whack on guys who bought the feminist man code. They started doubting their gut feelings, stuffing real urges, and begging okay for true man sparks. This kind of mind game left guys feeling unsure about their own worth, mixed up on their place in the world, and always needing thumbs up from others to feel okay about themselves. Folks ended up emotionally shaky since they'd lost touch with the real roots of their guy-like strength and drive. These weakened men often dealt with feeling down, worried all the time, and trouble in their partnerships, all because they'd learned to bury the qualities that could have helped them shine there. They were acting like men, but chasing rules meant to block real male wins. The hurt hit hard because it came from their own honest tries to be better guys by women's rules. These fellas couldn't figure out why sticking to the okay ways left them failing and unhappy. This mental weakening was the meanest part of the whole plan, making men think their pain showed they were growing nicer. Not that it was just what happens when you ditch who you are. The big aim of reshaping what it means to be a man wasn't about making stronger guys or better ties. It was to cut back on men fighting for stuff, standing, and top spots by getting them to drop the fight in themselves. That trick worked great at first. A bunch of old-school manly types got pushed out by peer push, group rules, and mind tricks. This opened doors for women and easygoing men to step into roles once taken by tougher rivals. But the end of that fight shows a big problem in the plan. The women and softened guys who grabbed those spots often missed the skill, push, and toughness that built success before. This led to gaps in leading at work and groups everywhere. Pulling out solid male leaders made empty spots filled by weaker choices. Sure, it helped short wins in the tussle, but it wrecked how things run for the long haul. The fight's finish also showed that lots of men who'd helped tear down old manhood got tossed aside once the job was done. They learned their team up with anti-guy pushes only shielded them for a bit from the mess they'd helped make. Redefining manhood has set up shaky ground that'll spark fixes down the line. When groups pick loyalty to ideas over real ability, they open up to losing out to outfits that value doing well over stories. This fix could come a few ways. Business fights will boost places hiring the best folks, no matter guy rules. World clashes will help lands that didn't hobble their top talent with mind games. Younger crowds will raise boys ditching the empty hype of girl-approved manhood. The fix might hit through folks seeing the whole redo as a bust for everyone. As the skill shortage grows clear and things keep slipping, there could be fresh respect for old male strengths. Still, this shift will hit walls from those sunk deep in the now setup. The fix needs guys claiming back the say on manhood from their own gut and needs, not rivals' dictates. The ones who pull through will be those who kept their true guy self against crowd push, built skills despite slanted systems, and held onto their fight spark even when it got called bad. The real deal on redoing manhood is it's one of history's slickest fight moves. By getting men to drop their built-in edges while thinking it was moral growth, this push won battles straight fights couldn't touch. The guys who bought in didn't flop from being soft or dumb. They slipped because they were good-hearted, straight, and cared about fair play. Those fine points got twisted to help aims that hurt their own good and wins. Spotting this twist is the start to dodging it. Guys who see that playing by rivals' book spells loss can start choosing for themselves, not what foes want. That push to redefine manhood worked by fooling guys into thinking their own instincts were the issue, instead of seeing how ditching those instincts was the real snare. True manhood doesn't crave thumbs up from folks who clash with it. All it takes is guts to live real, even when society's nudging you toward outsiders' rules. The fellas breaking out of this mind trap get it. Being a man means shaping what manhood is from your built-in drive, not swallowing setups made by those who gain from guys going soft. This breakdown shows how tweaking manhood has quietly undercut male rivalry, all wrapped up as some ethical advance. It sheds light on the sneaky pushes against real guy stuff. The ones doing well here are those who see staying true means ditching outside takes on who you're supposed to be, and just turning into the man you really are.